at this match by the numbers. I mean, when you look at the shots, Germany just dominating possession as well as shots on goals. Charlie, for you, this was, I mean, there was many storylines we were following heading into this one. This was the return of Gio Reyna to the roster. He got the start in this one. This was also for Germany, Julian Nagelsmann, first game in charge. And so I think there's just a lot of eyeballs, not really knowing what to expect from them. For the U.S., we talked a lot about how an opponent like Germany, these are good tests for the United States. Germany, not in great form coming into this, but perennially a global powerhouse in this sport. How do you think the U.S. fared? What was your initial reaction to this performance?
This is probably, leaving that stadium, it was the most positive I've ever felt.
Really?
Losing 3-1.
Really?
Yes.
Oof. I'm glad you finished the sentence that way, because I was like, I thought you were going to say the most positive you felt after a USA game. I'm like,
no.
what?
Huh?
After losing 3-1, I left very optimistic, because that first half, there were a lot of positives in that first half. And if you concede possession to Germany, which they did, and play on the counter, they had their opportunities, they had their moments, and they had one brilliant individual moment for Christian Pulisic. But besides that, if you take away that play, there were times where Timothy Weah used his pace. Can he do that more often? And they were able to pull Germany out of position in transition, but they just weren't effective in the final third. They didn't take their chances. And if I look at Valérien Balogun, he only had 17 touches in this match. They did, and it wasn't that he wasn't good. They just didn't find him in certain plays. There were times where Christian and Balogun were taking the same positions, and so getting that right, you could see that they're not yet on the same page when it comes to the attack and movement. But I was very impressed with the first half in terms of.
Are you happy?
Happy?
I don't know. Like, are you?
Yeah.
I wasn't as optimistic leaving the game as you are right now.
Yeah, the first 45, I was happy.
But a soccer game is 90 minutes.
But this is also a friendly, where you took off Gio Reyna at half. You make substitutions.
Understood.
You're not playing this like a World Cup match.
Understood.
So for me,
But you don't think
I actually was happy, considering the moments in the game where if I look at the scoreline 3-1 and I didn't see the game, I'd say, oh man, Germany probably pounded us. But there were little moments. It wasn't massive reconstructive surgery.
Yeah, but you don't want.
It's little moments that I think this team can improve
and especially after the 2 goals within a 4-minute span, the U.S. was still able to compete. A lot of subs maybe changed the dynamic of the game, but it was still very competitive. I agree in the sense that Germany didn't blow the United States out of the water, but they did expose some glaring problems for the United States. I start with the lack of Tyler Adams. There was this whole debate when Tyler Adams wasn't at Concacaf Nations League and Yunus Musa played at the 6 or Weston McKennie, and they were going into this interchangeable role. Who's going to be the midfielder to start that first point of attack, right? And like, all right, we don't need Tyler Adams. We figured it out without Tyler Adams. Or like, when he's healthy, is he going to be the first man dropped in the 3 midfield system from Berhalter? And on Saturday, it proved that you need somebody to put out some fires like Tyler Adams.
Because the quality of the opposition, you're not playing Mexico
for sure.
or Canada, you're playing Germany.
Agree.
But let's talk about the quality of the opposition for one moment, because I think this is important. Julian Nagelsmann's first match, they have something to prove. And to some degree, I think Berhalter did as well. Berhalter said before the match that we have to learn. That was a quote. When you face these upper echelon of quality opponent, to some degree, didn't you walk away thinking, we didn't prove we were at that level? We proved that moment.
I agree. Chuck, there were times that the U.S. was playing out of the back and they committed some elementary mistakes that you can't expect out of the U.S. If we want to hold ourselves to the standard of Germany, we can't be shaky out of the back. Or maybe Berhalter has to shift. He can't expect to play out of the back when you don't have a center back, when you don't have a goalkeeper, when you have the players to that quality to be clean out of the back. There wasn't plays where the U.S. was constructing quickly, where it was movement, where it was finding the 6 pivot, play off the pivot, and then move forward. You weren't getting that.
I think what you touched on is perfect. They're not at the level yet. but they can get to that level. That's why I left.
We've been saying that for a long time. Chuck.
Thank you, Suze.
You've been saying
how
what?
long?
How long are we going to get? Wow, we're so close. But my point is that we've been saying that for feels like a long time.
When you say that, they get out of the group with England, Wales, and Iran, and they were the best team in that group, especially in the match against England. And you're telling me that we're waiting for it? Was that not evidence for you?
Has this team taking a step forward from what you just said? Has this team taken a step forward from what you just said? Because we talked about that ad nauseum. Has what showed against Germany is that this unit and Berhalter attached to it taken a step forward. I'm afraid that what we saw is not a step forward. That's still the team that could boss England for 90 and not lose.
If you looked at the Netherlands game compared to this Germany game, which game would you say the U.S. played better in?
I would say this Germany game.
Yes. And that answers the question.
Okay.
That answers the question. And that's without Tyler Adams, because in a game where you have to change tactically, and Tyler Adams isn't there because you're not bossing the game. When you have possession, then you don't need a Tyler Adams, right? That's what people say. You don't need a Tyler Adams. But when you have to defend and you have to put out fires and you have to sit in a low block, guess what? You need a Tyler Adams. You need a player who can put out fires. You need a player who's a tough tackler because you're sitting back. You're not dictating the game. And that's where the U.S. faltered, because they did not dictate the tempo in this game. They played strictly counterattack. And then when they did go, they were out of position when Germany won the ball back.
That's a very essential part of counterattacking, though.
That is what hurt this team. So when Greg looks at the tape, he's going to say, wow, there were a lot of positives. But
For sure there were a lot of positives,
negatives are what cost us the game. The small parts of the game where people were out of position or a bad pass, but those are fixable. I would be leaving that stadium if it was absolute travesty where they got played off the park, they got pounded, and you thought, wow, we don't have any upside. This team is taking steps backwards. This was progress if you're looking at Holland and the Netherlands in that first game, knockout game in the first half, compared to this game. I was left feeling positive. That's how I left this game.
I feel like it was a small step forward if we're considering what you're saying. Fair. Obviously, to satisfy what you guys were saying, the U.S. would have had to win, right? I think that's what would have made you happy or fulfilled in your statement of like, all right, we are evolving. We are taking strides. I don't feel like a 3-1 loss to Germany is a stride forward. Sure, it's a step forward if you take away positives. And this all is going to build up. We're not going to have a testimony to this until Copa America. Yeah. Which is, I don't know if it's a scary thing. It's just like, how do you measure progress when you're not playing at the standard and tested, and when your medal is really tested, like against Germany?
And to your point, when you don't have the ball, when you have to defend because you're playing against better opponents, that's where we could see the growth and see how they react. But if you don't, the tactics change. And I think that's where we're all wondering, when Copa America comes around and you don't have possession and you're not controlling the tempo, how do they look?
Do you adjust?
Okay.
Adapt?
So what are the takeaways from this match against Germany that you want to see implemented against Ghana tomorrow?
I'd like to see Folarin Balogun more involved. That's one. Your starting striker.
You were a striker. That only happens if you get the right service. And
only had 17 touches.
Behind you.
Right. But you also have to figure out ways to impact the game. And he did with passing, with his movement. But he just didn't get on the end of any balls in behind. Because if you looked at Germany in the first half, where Nagelsmann made the biggest tactical adjustment is Hummels he has no legs. He has no pace. And the U.S. were starting to figure that out as the first half went on. Attack. And then if you got Florian Wirtz defending, making those guys defend, Sané, Musiala, Wirtz, they're not defenders. They don't want to defend. Yep. Putting them on their heels, then the U.S. started to open up the game. But then Germany said, as soon as Nagelsmann came in at halftime, he said, enough of that. No more of that. And then you saw Germany control the game. And Gundogan, in particular, had 113 touches. That's where you saw the difference, the world class.
That's the thing for me. Gundogan, this man is world class. I don't look at the U.S. We've got some really, really talented players, but when you just look at the class of Germany and the Sanés and the Gundogans, I'm just like, where are we in comparison to a team like that? And I want us to be closer. We don't have those.
So you got to make do with what you have.
I know.
And that's
I know,
Berhalter
but
at the end of the day.
yeah.
The one positive for me is Christian Pulisic is in form.
Yes.
He is. The move to AC Milan has proven to be absolutely amazing. We all sat here at this desk and questioned, is he going to play? Is he going to get moments? The coach wants him. What is this going to be? Is it going to be the old Pulisic? Man, those gears are starting
Confidence.
to turn.
He's got some
I
massive swagger right now.
I have to give a shout out to Brendan Aronson, who has been struggling for playing time. He came in and he proved the point. He proved that he's got the quality to play, to be an impact player on the U.S. men's national team. I was very happy to see his dribbling ability. I mean, he turned Rudiger inside out, at least on two occasions. And this is a Real Madrid starting center back right now. So, we talked after the game. He was a little frustrated in how his playing time, has unfolded at Union Berlin. But he was moving, he was cooking, he was trying to create. This is what you want from a U.S. men's national team player coming off the bench. Make an impact with his movement, with his ability to get on the ball in the attacking third. I love that. And when I watch this team, and another reason why I say why I left positive, when they were playing in World Cup qualifying, they were boys. We were watching boys. When I watched them play against England, when I watched them play against the Netherlands, maybe not so much the whole time against the Netherlands, but I watched them play against Germany. I said, these are men. Nations League, they showed me they're men. They've developed. Now they're missing some game changers. They're missing timing with runs into the attacking third, which we saw from Musiala, which we saw from Gundogan. When we can take that next step, that's when we're going to say, oh, we're all right. But I was left positive because I saw the transformation from boys to men.